Claudia Harrison, who plays the Queen's daughter in The Crown, has something to say. She talks about how drama is criticized for making up stories about real people, but the audience is smart enough to figure out that what they see isn't always true. Let's look at how Harrison thinks putting disclaimers on The Crown would patronize viewers. Let's also look at royal experts fearing for more dangerous inaccuracies within the show. To start with, Claudia Harrison weighs in on The Crown's disclaimers. On November 9th, Claudia Harrison was in an interview before Season 5 of The Crown came out on Netflix, and she was weighing in on whether the show needs disclaimers. It seems like some people who support the royal family think that the Netflix show needs to make it clearer that the things that happen in it are made up. Their point is that the show doesn't emphasize enough on the fact that it's fiction rather than a documentary. Oh, and some big stars like Dame Judi Dench have spoken out against The Crown too. In an open letter, she called it inaccurate, saying that each episode should come with a warning. What's more, former prime ministers Sir John Major and Sir Tony Blair also had problems with how they were portrayed. Harrison, however, was responding to criticism of the drama after the Queen's death. When it comes to the recent backlash, she says as an actor, she was really uncomfortable with the idea of putting disclaimers on art. Following up, Harrison talks about how good the research team is. Harrison takes over the role of Erin Doherty, just as The Crown looks at the Queen's Annus Horribilis of 1992. She said she was super excited to be a part of a team that works so hard on producing a beautifully researched piece of historical fiction. Even if it's partly fiction, they're still taking the story from proper legitimate documents in history. And that's why she said the show looks at the imagined conversations behind closed doors with a considerable amount of respect and a whole lot of research. She also said that we live in a world where the story and politics behind The Crown is a pretty legitimate subject for creatives to study, and that we should be thankful we live in a world with free press and free cultural landscape. And this way, it's actually good that we're being allowed to use the story behind the royal family to understand their lives better, and to also look at the impact they've had on the rest of the world. What's more, Claudia has immense respect for the character she's playing. Harrison, a mother of 3 who lives on a working farm like the Princess Royal, worked hard to get ready for the role. She said that as an actor, she likes to get into the meat of things, and that's why she reads a lot of books. In her opinion, the research team on The Crown is excellent. Apart from this, to understand Princess Anne better, she also read Riding Through My Life. Anne was an Olympian, a professional athlete, a working mother, and the patron of hundreds of charities and organizations. She was genuinely an exceptional woman. She's the type who wants to know everything. When she enters a room, she's not there to make it look nice. She's there to do a job and meet people. Like, she wants to be taken seriously. And it's really nice to see that she works hard and takes care of business with a lot of determination. By the 5th season, Anne has just gotten divorced, and a lot has changed. In series 3 and 4, people might have had a lot of hope, but now we see a different royal family. They're all older and jaded because they've been doing this job for a long time. If you think about it, it's a really interesting thing to look at. Harrison hopes that when she plays Anne, she'll do justice to the character. What's more, according to her, Anne has done a great job as the Princess Royal, and she hopes that The Crown will help her become an icon. Lastly, Harrison talks about her opinions when it comes to the royal family. In another interview with You, Claudia talked about how much she respects the royal family, and how filming The Crown had to stop when the Queen died. For her, the Queen's death felt like the end of an era. It's understandable since she had been a part of the country for such a long time. The actress stood in line to see the Queen in state and watch her funeral, and then, after the mourning period was over, she went back to work. The idea was that the story of who wears the crown should definitely be shown and acted out, and as an actor, turning down the role would be a very strange moral choice. The actor also said that she likes the royal family and has a lot of respect for it as an institution. She wouldn't call herself a Republican because she doesn't know which prime minister could get rid of the crown by passing a law, but she did take part in that debate. Working on the show hasn't made made her a royalist again, but it has made her realize that the royals aren't going anywhere. In the midst of all this, she also said that an actor's job is to defend their character. You look at the people you're playing and treat them like people who have complex emotional landscapes, especially when most of them are good people, at least in Claudia's eyes. She thinks the Queen and Anna come in this category, but she's not sure about Charles. And now, let's look at royal experts' fears for more dangerous inaccuracies. First up, Katie Nicholl, a royal expert, has said that the new season of The Crown is too raw because it shows events from the 1990s. Nicholl, who is the royal editor for Vanity Fair, went on to GB News to talk about the controversial show. She said she feared that The Crown would have more inaccurate facts that could prove to be dangerous in the future. After watching season 5, Nicholl said she felt uncomfortable, and this is something that's new because she didn't feel the same when she was watching the previous seasons. The thing is, in the past, we couldn't really relate to the events they were talking about since they were from such a long time ago. But in this season, since the story is from a recent timeline, for some people it feels too raw. That too in a very uncomfortable way. She also asked about what she felt about Prince Charles' portrayal in the show. The king's desire to make the world a better place and his creativity from a young age are really well shown, but so many of the scenes are awkward. It's weird to listen over and over again to the transcript of the tampon gate conversation. To her, it feels dirty and out of place. Next up, controversy around Queen's speech in season 5. Recently, a lot of rumors spread on the internet that the royal series made up parts of Queen Elizabeth's famous Annus Horribilis speech. Right now, Netflix is getting a lot of hate for changing history in season 5. In November 1992, after a number of scandals and just 4 days after a fire destroyed part of her home at Windsor Castle, Her Majesty spoke at London's Guildhall. In her famous speech, the Queen said, "I will not look back on the year of my Ruby Jubilee with pure happiness." She also called it an Annus Horribilis. But The Sun said that the writers of The Crown have added new lines to their version. Imelda Staunton, who plays the Queen in the popular Netflix show, said that mistakes were made in the past. As a response to this, TV Insider said that Netflix can argue about what may or may not have happened behind closed doors to explain some of their storylines. But what they can't do is change the speech, because when you do that, you're basically changing history. The source went on to say that The Crown will not be considered a good show if you're looking for an accurate depiction of the events that happened. It seems like they're being loose with the truth and also intentionally trying to hurt the reputation of the monarchy in very unfair ways. Finally, Jonathan Pryce is upset at the criticism the show is getting. Jonathan Pryce will basically be replacing Tobias Menzies as Prince Philip. In a recent interview with Entertainment Weekly, he talked about how much he loves playing the Duke of Edinburgh and how disappointing the criticism of the last season has been. When asked what he really knew about Prince Philip, he said the only information he got was from the newspapers, and that picture was never pretty. So when he started working on the show, he learned new things about the late prince. Now he thinks it's kind of sad that people criticize the show without seeing it. They're saying the show is inaccurate and dangerous, but that's not what he sees. He says he wouldn't be a part of the show if he thought it was disrespecting the royal family. To him, it just seems like the press is making a big deal out of it. On that note, that's a wrap for this video. Do you think season 5 of The Crown is inaccurate? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.